Trading futures and options on futures involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility. And although this could be an equation for opportunity, it's also an equation for risk. So be careful. Only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. My personal definition of risk capital is money I could afford to lose, doesn't change my lifestyle, or overly stress me out. As human beings, we make bad decisions when we're under stress, so be in a good spot. Remember, micro contracts could be friends. Take it easy on the day trade margins. You get plenty of leverage without maxing out on those day trade margins on a regular basis. We'll be taking a look at a real-time simulated live NinjaTrader trading platform today, and none of this should be construed as trade or investment advice. Past performance not indicative of future results. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to NinjaTrader Platforms Unleashed. My name is Jim Cagnina with NinjaTrader. It is Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. August 7th, 2023. Appreciate everybody being here today. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend, is ready to get some work done this week. We got a lot of stuff going on in the streaming shows here, and we're going to kick it off with a walkthrough of the charts on the web-based NinjaTrader platform. And remember, we have three flavors, right? We have the PC-based download version of the software. That's, I guess you can call it the legacy NinjaTrader platform, or the award-winning NinjaTrader platform. Or it's pretty awesome. We use it every day in the live stream shows. The second flavor is the web-based trading platform, which we're going to talk about today, which means you could access it on any web browser that you're using. And the third flavor is the mobile app, which we'll be talking about in a couple of sessions from now. We'll be getting into the mobile app. It's equally handy. I use it all the time. It's in my pocket. It's attached to my hip. So those are the three versions. Let's get right into the charts here. We're going to walk through setting up a chart and how it all works in the web-based platform. I already have one opened up. This is the E-mini S&P stock index future chart. I have a 10-minute chart. And the way to launch a chart, this little plus button right there, upper left, you click on that plus button and it'll be like, hey, what do you want to open up? You can do a quote board, a chart, a dome, any of these buttons here with a little description underneath it. You could open up any one of these, as many of these as you want, and you can just click on it. It will open up. Now, and there's an X up here, right? So when you open up these windows in the web-based, if you want to close something, a window that you opened up, there's usually a little X in the upper left or an X on the upper right. This X is on the upper left. So I'm going to go ahead and click it, and it'll bring me back to my chart. Now, I already opened it, obviously, and I have it up here. It's E-mini S&P. Move my wires out of the way here for a second. E-mini S&P 10-minute chart, as you can see on the tab. I could have as many tabs open as I want. I could have another tab with another chart. I could have another tab with the same chart with a different time frame, et cetera, et cetera. Let's focus on one today, right? This is the E-mini S&P. If I wanted to change the market, I could just click on the word E-mini S&P, and it'll give me a select symbol search area where I could type in a different contract or a different keyword, and it'll come up with the market that I'd like, and it would apply it to the chart. We're going to stick with the E-mini S&P 10-minute for now, and I'll go ahead and talk about some of the settings, how you add studies and drawing tools, and all of that stuff. My background is set to black. You could have a white background if you want. We'll get into all of that stuff as we go. A couple of things to point out right off the bat. Here, you can see it's kind of embedded into a bigger template. We have some controls on the top. We got some controls on the far right. We're going to focus on the actual chart. And there's two levels of controls, really. So on the right-hand side, you'll see a little gear and the ability to make a full-size chart into a small-size chart. That's that double arrow pointing down to the left, right? And then there's a view settings button here as well, which we'll get into. We'll get into that one last. This is how you turn on Chart Trader and stuff like that. Let's start, though, on the left-hand side, where you have these functions here as well. So basic number one thing, to move the chart around within the chart space, you just grab it with your left mouse. So you use your left mouse, you hold it down, you grab anywhere in the chart area, and then you could just go ahead and adjust it and move it around. It's just that simple. It's really that easy. So just grab it and move it around. To zoom in and zoom out, you got a zoom in function and a zoom out function. Let's do the zoom in function first. I'm going to click the zoom in function. It's going to be activated. It's going to activate it now. Now, how far in do I want to zoom? So it's going to give me the ability to say, all right, this I want to zoom in this far, and then I'll click on that, and then it will, once I highlight the area where I wanted to zoom in on, then it'll give me that picture as well. So you could kind of select which area of the chart you want to focus on, and then it'll pop it up. And it doesn't have to be at the latest contemporary candle. It could be in the middle. It could be anywhere. So if I wanted to go back to where I was, I'd have that little zoom out button right next to it. It's a magnifying glass with a negative sign in it. I click on that, and it brings me back to where I started. How are we doing so far? So far, so good. Easy to manipulate, easy to zoom in, easy to zoom out. And these are these two little toggle buttons over here. Zoom in, plus sign, zoom out. Now, if I wanted to change my time frame, I have 10-minute, right? So I'm going to go ahead. This is my preferred Japanese candle time frame in my time series analysis here. I'm going to click on the 10-minute, and it gives me options, right? I could do 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, custom time, right? And if I want to have a 7-minute chart, I could change that to that. A day, tick chart. A lot of us like to look at tick charts. You can set your settings for your tick charts however you'd like. We have the volume charts. We have range bars, momentum range, seconds, and then these are like remembers my recent custom time frames. So that's how you change your time frame. It's really easy. It's pretty intuitive. We'll just put it that way. Next one over, we have candlesticks. This is what I have. I have a candlestick chart. If I didn't want a candlestick chart, for instance, I just wanted a bar chart, regular bar chart, basic bar chart, I'm just going to go ahead and click, and it'll change it to a basic bar chart. It's really an open, high, low, close bar chart, but we're going to call it a basic bar chart. I go back. I want to change it to something else. I have other options as well, including Akanashi, Renko. We even have a TPO upgrade here, which is pretty cool. So if you're a market profile person, TPO is like the real, I don't know, the official way to refer to, I guess, market profile, not volume profile, but market profile. And you could go ahead and click there and upgrade if you're so interested to do that. It's easy to do. Point and figure, of course. And so those are the chart type options. Still pretty basic stuff, right? So I'm just going to click back. Now, remember, one other thing that's handy, if you open up one of these menus and you want to close the menu without changing anything, just click on the header again. Just click on that candlestick again, and it'll go away. Okay, it'll go away. Now, going to the next one over, chart settings, let's click on that. And this gives me some options on how to adjust your chart settings, right? Current positions, filled orders, price levels, daily volume profile, market depth graph. And we'll add some of these later. I'm not going to add them to them yet because this is kind of the next level. And then color scheme, you can click on color scheme and change your dark mode to light mode and vice versa. And believe me, light mode doesn't work on this. It's too bright. I'll have to get my sunglasses and put those on. So I'm not going to change it to light mode, but that's how you would do it, right? If that's your thing, you wanted to change it that way. So the next little gear here, configure chart elements. Let's see what this does. I'm going to click on this, and there's nothing to configure yet. There's nothing to configure yet. We'll add to this in a second. Let's go to the next one over. Indicators. Okay, we got to add some indicators here. So they're broken down into categories, like logical categories, channels. It's going to have Bollinger Bands. And let's go ahead and click on it. Arun, Bollinger Bands, envelopes, Keltner channels. Those are pretty popular. Pivot points are here as well as price channel. Let's go ahead and add the Bollinger Bands. I'm just going to click on it once, and it's going to give me this box, and it's going to say, hey, do you, what kind of colors do you want your bands? Right now they're set at orange. And I could change my line type and kind of customize the format to however I like it. I'm going to leave them at orange. I think they look pretty good on a black background. My parameter is set at 20. That's the default. If you wanted to change it to a different level, you would just click on that. You would just change it, right? Just click from 20 to whatever you want to change it to, and that'll reset the period. Input is going to be based on the close price, which is how we have it set. And we're going to have it as an overlay chart, right? So you'll see the lines over the chart. Now, on the lower bottom part here, and this is with a lot of the indicators, you could shift it forward or backward, right? So you could shift the upper bands or lower bands forward or backward. So what that does is it takes the existing Bollinger Band and just moves it, however many periods forward or however many periods backward. So that's another option. I don't really use that option a lot, but let's go ahead and just add it right now as the way it's set up as a default. I'm going to hit save. And there you can see the Bollinger Bands right there tracking in orange. Again, I could format that. So that's pretty easy, right? Pretty simple. Most of the stuff here is very intuitive, and it's very easy to add quickly and without a lot of complication. So channels, remember, I left it at channels here. So I'm going to use that little caret to the left to go back to the main indicator menu. I've got moving averages. I have oscillators. Oh, everybody knows I like oscillators. Let's click on oscillators and see what we have here. We have a whole list of oscillators, all the regular suspects, and then some. Right? We have MACD. I'm gonna add MACD. I like commodity channel index also, but I'm gonna add the MACD right here and just click on it. Now it's going to do the same thing, right? It's going to give me this pop-up window, we'll call it, right? Pop-up window. I think that's fair, and it'll give me the ability to go modify colors, line sizes, and all that stuff. You can just kind of go through here and just modify it however you'd like, right? I have my parameters 12, 26, 9. That's kind of a normal textbook out of the box parameters for fast, slow, and the signal line for the MACD. And then my input is E-mini S&P. I'm going to keep it on the same market. I'm not going to change that. I'm going to add it as new, and it's going to be an area, right? So it's going to create a new panel at the bottom of the chart, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And there it is down there. And again, if you don't like the colors, you could adjust it. This is very team spirit kind of colors right here. And you can see how I'm just moving it around to kind of format it I want. I'm just grabbing the line with my mouse. Remember, I put my cursor there. I could expand that panel. I could contract that panel. And that's how that particular function works. It's pretty easy. So now I have my MACD at the bottom of my actual market. I am going to zoom in a little bit, though, just to kind of make it a little bit easier for us all to see. I'm going to click on that plus again, and I'm going to draw my rectangle. And this is kind of what I want to see in my chart. And I'm going to go, oopsie, sorry. I let go of my rectangle. Let's try it again. I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to go click and click. I'm sorry. I messed it up. There we go. I got my rectangle right there. So I just want to see this area of the map expanded all the way, the chart. And that's how I have a more contemporary view here. This is pretty much pre-open up until now. And you can see the candles moving around in real time. So MACD at the bottom, everything is good. Now I could add a bunch of more stuff if I want, right? Here are all the other indicators. Here's all the other oscillators. And if I were to add a commodity channel index as an example, it would add another panel to the chart if I wanted to do that. But I'm going to go back here and see what else we have. We have moving averages, and we have several different types. You have the simple, the exponential. We have a whole moving average, triangular, and weighted moving average also. So again, whichever one you're into, you could do it. And if you're going to do a moving average cross, well, you would just add, let's say you were going to do a simple moving average cross, right? You were going to do a 6 and a 12, or a 6 and a 20, or a 12 and a 20. You would just add two different moving averages to the same chart, and you'll have these two relationships show up as independent lines on your chart. What else do we have? Oscillators, we talked about. Volatility, we got some volatility type of indicators to add. Average true range, which is a Tom Schneider favorite. Bollinger Bandwidth, mass index, and then volatility standard deviation. So that's another option that you have here. Then volume-based, accumulation distribution line, Chaikin and money flow, ease of money, force index, and money flow. So you can see you could start making these kind of complicated, or kind of I would say feature rich if you were. And then there's the rest of the types of the rest of the stuff down here you could add as well. So again, if you haven't tried this yet, just try a real-time free simulated live account, and then go ahead and practice to make them how you want, given the workspace. Now I just have one chart up right now. I could have 4, 5, 6 charts up, right? I could have independent ones, and they don't have to be in a tab format. They could be floating around the universe and throughout my workspace. So keep that in mind also. And then template lists. This is stuff I'd saved before, right? So once I'm done building this template, then I could save this template as something else. I have one saved as CAGS1. I could trash it. I could leave it. When we're done, we can go ahead and save this as CAGS2 as an example. It's a really, really handy feature, especially if you want to have two different kinds of looks, right? Maybe one more of a volume-based look, maybe one more of an indicator-based look, and or you could even do it by time frames if you wanted to, right? This could be CAGS 10 for 10 minutes. You can do CAGS 1 day. So just depending on how you want to organize your workspace, it's that feature is there for you. Okay. Let's move over here. Let's go to the crosshairs. It says show crosshairs. So we already have done that. So we could snap this thing together if we have two of them that aren't together. And then there's the global crosshair as well, which would transcend between the two different charts. Make sense? What's the next one? Data box. This is pretty handy because once you open up the data box, as you move your crosshairs over an individual candle, it'll show you the stats of that candle, right? So this big green candle here, that at 1150 bar, she has me open, high, low, close, the volume of that candle, the top, the bottom, upper, lower bands, and then the MACD and the signal. So it gives me all of the information I need associated with that particular candle. If that's of interest to you, it's all, this kind of functionality is also on the PC based, but this comes particularly pretty handy, especially when you're looking at daily charts and you want to see the average true range and stuff like that. So that's kind of handy as well. And that's not crosshairs. That was data box. Drawing tools. Drawing tools are also pretty powerful and pretty convenient. Just click on that little sideways, I don't know, line going up, diagonal sloped up line. And here are our options. We have line. We have multi-line. We have multi-lines kind of like zigzag. Click, click, click. And we'll do a sample. But that's what multi-line is. Think of that zigzag tool on the other NinjaTrader on the PC-based NinjaTrader platform. Horizontal line, vertical line, fib retracement, trend, regression channel, text, shapes. What do shapes do? Rectangle. My famous rectangle is right here. My famous rectangle is right there. So you can get some shapes there. Hide drawings, lock drawings are your final options. Let's go ahead and add Fibonacci. We'll just do, I don't know, we'll do a low to high. I'm just going to move my mouse to approximately where I want to start my fib. And then I'm going to go ahead and anchor it. And then I'm going to drag it all the way up to the type candle. Sorry, drag it all the way up. And it'll put the fib there. Now I could move it around. Certainly. I can grab it and move the whole thing around if I wanted to. So it's really intuitive when you're using this web-based when you're drawing you're doing your studies, drawing your lines, you just grab it and move it around. So it's pretty intuitive there. If you wanted to change the settings, just double click on it and it'll give you the settings. Here it's kind of color coded, yellow to red, kind of, the bigger the fib number, the darker the color. So that's how this one is. If you wanted to change them all to a different color or anything like that, you could certainly do that. You want to show price, you could click on that. It'll show price. And then it gives you some particulars down here at the bottom of how this thing is. Now, if I wanted to remove it, I just hit that remove button, right? If I make a change, I'm going to hit apply and save. If I want to save it as my default, after a change, I'd click on save it as my default, right? So if I made a change, then I would go ahead and click that save as default, and then hit apply and OK, and we're good to go. So now I have a fib here as well. So I have a drawing tool. I could draw a line if I want. We could draw, any of these things that I'd like. Let's just draw a trend line just for fun. I'm going to go ahead and pick the line tool. And I don't know, we'll pick this low here. And we'll just kind of touch the bottoms. We'll touch the bottoms of some candles here just to kind of see what this trend line looks like. Low right here, approximately 8:20 in the morning. Nice touch point right here again at about 10. And sure enough, this is a trend line, right? This is a support line. It's held, right? We really haven't had a body of a candle close below this line ever since this trend started way back here pre-market. So that's a pretty handy tool, and it's an easy way to help you with your technical analysis. All right, are we good? Everybody with me so far? All right, so those are kind of the fundamental basic types of functions, right, that you'd see in most charting, but this one has the ability to do some extra stuff as well. So let's kind of go over to the right and see what that looks like. On the right-hand side here, we have this view set, this other cog here, cog up here, view settings. I'll click on that. Let's see what we have here. Contract details, trade mode. Now this is important to me. I like this trade mode. I'm going to turn this on. And now I have the ability to place trades from the chart, right? I don't have to place trades from the actual trading ladder anymore or an old-fashioned trade ticket anymore. I could place it on the chart itself, right? And then you have some quick buttons up here too. Buy or sell. These are market orders. Buy one at the market, sell one at the market. This is my quantity. I'm going to do one contract at a time. I'm old and slow and not that aggressive, so we'll do one contract at a time. We have join bid. You could join the bid instead of just doing a buy market, or you could join the ask instead of just doing a sell market. And they're color coded to help you, know, hey, we're buying, we're selling. Automatic trade strategies are off right now. We could turn those on really easy by clicking on that and setting them up. And then this is kind of like I don't want to use the word panic button, but this is a quick out button, right? Where it'll exit a position at market and cancel any orders that you have working, and basically clean the slate, right? Wash the chalkboard clean and start over. That's what that gray box does. So be careful with that. Use it gingerly and when you need it. Otherwise, let's go ahead and just put a trade on right now. Now, all right, so let's do a little bit of analysis anyway. Looks like we're having a little bit of retracement right now. The last three candles, remember, this is a 10-minute chart, and we have, a nice four candle move up. We have a nice 3 candle, but we have a series of lower highs, about to have a lower low. So I'm going to go ahead and join the ask right now. I'm going to click that, and you can see that my order, it's right there. There's a red line there, and you can see it's a 23.75. Now I just got filled on my order, right? And actually I had 2 contracts on right there because I double clicked. But up here I'm short 2, and then that's my position, 45.23. So look at that upper left hand corner as well to get an eye on that. Now the next thing I have to do, of course, is hey, I want to put a profit target in. I'm short 2. I think I'd like to buy it back at a lower price. So I'm going to go ahead and say, well, I want to do it at 38, right? So I'm going to click once at my price at that 38.2% retracement. And then it'll ask me, hey, Jim, do you want to do a sell stop or do you want to do a buy limit? Well, since I'm short now, it's going to be a target, right? It's going to be a buy limit. So I'm going to click on that, and that's going to give me an order right there. Now, that's only one of the 2, right? Well, where do you want your second order at, Jim? Well, because it's a 2 lot, right? I'm short 2 contracts. So I want to take profit on the other, I want to have a profit target on the other unit also, right? To complete that. And I'm going to look at this and say, okay, what's a reasonable target for me? And again, don't follow home alone with me. I'm just kind of practicing here, right? We're just kind of showing the functionality of the chart. And I might want to do it at the 50%. So I'm going to left click my mouse, and it's going to give me the same opportunity. Do you want it to be a stop or do you want it to be buy? I want it to be a buy. And so there are my 2 units. I'm targeting one at 22.5. I'm targeting another one at 17.5. And then the last thing I need to do is put my stop order in. We'll put it at the high. We'll just put it at the high for now. I'll click it, and then it's going to be a stop, right? It'll be a buy stop. This is kind of a protective stop. And I'll show you how to move these things along also. And we have 1 lot here, so I'm going to make it a 2. And we'll go, oopsie, sorry about that. I have 1 contract here. I want to make it a 2. Sorry about that. Let's just do it this way. Let's change the 2. Let's go ahead and go back up to that 100% level. Click once, and now I have the 2 right. So buy 2 on a stop. Protective. It's in, right? And it's smart too because it's green. Oopsie. See, I didn't want to do that. That's okay. Let's click again and it goes away. 2, it's green. So these are buys, right? Reds are sells. Now we know that these are profit targets. We know this is a stop, right? And we could just drag everything around if we want to drag everything around. So we're going to go ahead and keep that and just hang tight and watch the trade kind of work or not work. So that's how you make these trades actually from the chart themselves. Now let's go back to that little view settings here. Stop type. This is kind of important. I'm going to click on stop type, and it'll say what type of stop do you want to do. I just like the regular market stops. You could do a stop limit, a trailing stop, or a trailing stop limit. We're going to keep it at there. We're going to keep it at that one. just a regular stop. That's a market order. Boom, it'll trigger right away. You know, and yeah, you'll probably get some slippage when that happens, a tick or so. But that's the fastest way out. All right, we're covering a lot of ground. What else do we have here in this toggle thing? Bar counts. This is handy if you want to see a countdown timer as the bar is about to expire. So, you know, this bar is going to expire in 4.5 minutes. You could enable it, and there'll be a countdown setting, and then you could even set an alert, right? You could set an alert. You could even play an alert, but you know, set an alert. It'll pop it up for you, and then there's my interval that I want, and that it's 10, right? It's 10 based on the default of the chart. I could change it to something else, but we're going to leave it at 10 for now, and I'm going to hit save. And let's see, what else was I going to do here? Hang on a second. Make sure I have everything set up exactly how I want to set it up. Fills and orders. I'm going back to settings here. Fills and orders. I want to make sure I show the orders. I show the fills. I could show order lines if I wanted to. Let's click on that. And it'll actually give me a line all the way across where my order is, instead of having to look at that little tiny square on the right-hand side. The way I have a big monitor, so that's why it looks small. But that's another way to kind of just extend those lines just to see where you're at, see the market's trying to get to my stop. We're not a fan of that. And that's how you do that. So again, pretty intuitive, right? Pretty intuitive. You could move around your orders just by grabbing them, right? Just by grabbing them and pulling them down. I could tighten my stop. I'm going to grab it in the actual y-axis itself, and I'm going to pull it down to make it a little tighter. In this particular case, now, if we start making new highs, you have to and just click, and I re-anchor it. So I just canceled and replaced that order down to 28.5. This was the stop, and you can see I'm right above this high wick here. I want to be right above this high wick. That's all the heat I want to take on this trade. You know, if I get stopped out, I get stopped out, and I can go back and cancel those two orders. So that's pretty again, pretty intuitive, pretty easy. Now this X will close the chart, so don't click on that X unless you really want to close the chart. And then this will minimize it. We'll click on that to minimize it, and it brings it back within my workspace, which I have set up here with the trading ladder. We went over this last week, I believe. Quote board, my position tab, and my orders tab as well. And these are fungible, right? So you'll see my orders sitting here in the trading ladder. They're also being displayed on the chart as well. And this market is railing up to my stop, and will probably get stopped out there. Now, if I wanted to have a second chart, I could open it up as a standalone area, or I could keep it as a tab by clicking on this new tab button, which will, well, we could do it right here. I'm going to click on the new tab button, and I don't know, let's do, maybe we'll do an E-mini S&P again. Oh, no, I remembered it. So I'm sorry. Let's do NASDAQ. Let's do MNQ. MNQ. I'm going to click on that MNQ. I'm going to hit select. And it's going to add that micro NASDAQ chart right next to it. And then I could do stuff like, you know, forward it and format it however I want. Now, it kept the Bollinger Bands. It kept the moving average, right? It didn't keep the fib line, right? Because it's a drawing tool. It didn't keep the trend line because it's a drawing tool, but I could add it again with these same controls. Now, if I wanted to expand it again, there's this like full size arrow again. Just click on that and it'll expand it again. And I'll see the same controls at the top for placing trades. I also see the other tab, so I could toggle back to the other tab and go back and forth in that manner. All right, everybody with me? Is that making sense? All right. I'm going to go ahead and just go back to the partial view. Now, let's say I wanted to pull this NASDAQ chart out. I can grab the tab, and I can move it to another area, right? Let's say I wanted to put it, I don't know, below the trading ladder. And I could put it down below the trading ladder. And so now, this is an extreme demonstration because it's so far away. But it's way down here. You can see it here now, and it's just where I wanted to put it. So it's there's the tab at the top. So you could kind of really see the modular ability on how this works. If I wanted to attach it back to the tab in the original position, again, I'm just going to grab it and move it. Now you can see kind of the highlight. It's saying, hey, Jim, if you want to put it here, this is where it's going to go. if I want to put it here, this is where it's going to go. This is where it's going to go. So it's really smart. It'll kind of give you this ability. If I put it all the way up on the bar there, then it's going to put it back on the bar. It's going to attach it up there, so I could toggle back and forth pretty easily. So that's how you do it. Now, there's some other stuff controls here I think we covered before, including the news and chat, notifications, reports, community indicators, and actually the community indicators is pretty cool. I'm going to click on it. I got to double click on it maybe. Let's go. Come on, community indicators. They're popping up. Here we go. Community indicators. Don't click. Be patient. Sorry about that. Sometimes I double click. I get a little impatient. I just closed it. So you can scroll down and you can see all sorts of options, right? So you could just scroll down forever, not forever, but for a long period of time. You could scroll down and there's a bunch of different add-ons, right? You want to add the opening range, you could add the opening range. Cumulative delta histogram bar, all of this stuff. There's an install button there, and you can go forward through the process, and you can go ahead and add all of this stuff, full stochastics. So this is kind of like extra stuff you could add if you want to actually install it here. We have you could do a filter. You could kind of search instead of scroll, right? You can go instead of all. You could kind of, I just want indicators, or I want other people's workspaces or drawing tools that aren't already pre-configured, and then ones that are actively used, popular ones, and all of that stuff are in that drop-down menu as well. So that's a quick and easy way to kind of say, if you hear something or you see something on the PC-based and you'd like to add it to the web-based, or a lot of these things are unique also, things I have never seen before, which could be very powerful. Again, logging into simulated live mode, or even if you're not, you can still experiment with your charting with some of this really good features. So I'm going to hit the close button there. Let's go back to my main workspace. So what else do we have here that I didn't show you yet? I'm going to click on full size again on the chart, and I have the little carrots there that signify, that show me which candle I got. I placed the trade and the price at which I placed it. You can see there's that little red is for sell, blue is for buy. That's the way it's configured on the chart. So I could actually kind of go back in time and say, all right, what time frame did I do this trade? What did the bar look like when I did this trade? What did the bar look like when I got out of the trade? All right, either from a profit target point of view or a stop loss point of view. So those kind of things, at least for me, are pretty helpful. And quick button here is that, again, configure chart elements. If you wanted to just delete something real fast, this is how I would do it. Or you could double click on the actual indicator on the chart itself, and then you could hide it, the little eye. I don't want to delete it, but I don't want to see it for a second. So just click on the little eye and it disappears. Click on it again and it comes back. So again, it's pretty nimble. I think if anything, a couple of things. One, you can see data is moving around really quickly. Trade execution's pretty quick. The charts are pretty nimble for adding stuff and removing stuff. The multi-tab characteristic on the top, you could have a whole series of different markets, different time frames, and of different everything at the top as you go ahead and add. And remember, there's that plus button up here in the upper left where you could just go ahead and add anything, any kind of module you want. I'm going to call these a module. I think that's the accurate description of it. And we'll keep it at that. All right. Any last second questions here on something you're interested in, how to add? Let me know. And I'll be happy to try to get that as well. And I think we talked about the news feature here, that little button on the right-hand side, which gives you some streaming news in here through your charts, which this is pretty cool. This is a feature which this news feature is a really good feature because it's right there in my chart, right? So I can keep an eye on the chart. I can keep an eye on my trade as it's percolating, and then I can kind of take a peek and just kind of keep a look at some of these news items that go down. Because as we know, in the middle of the day, unplanned news does move the markets, right? And RTT News is one. Investing.com is another news source on here. So it's really targeted toward traders. So it's good stuff. I'm going to close it for now. I could pin it if I wanted to pin it to my layout, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and close it. And you can see that sub menu on the right kind of populates over here on the left also. All right. Well, the trade's kind of going in my way. I mean, right now, the other thing to keep in mind, remember, past performance not indicative of future results. I just did this as a sample, as a example of how to actually place a trade on the chart. We have up here, you have your open P&L, right? And that's going to move around in real time. That'll show you your gross P&L, right, on the trade. And it moves around in real time, and it's kind of handy. You could also see it on the left-hand side here where it says I'm short 2 -2 at an average price of 23 3/4. And then again, it's the gross open P&L is moving around. Green is good, white is neutral, red is bad. That makes sense. Now there is this little, let's talk about these orders here for a second. I have ATM turned off, right? Let's go to the NASDAQ for this. I have ATM turned off. If I wanted to turn it on, I could turn it on with the little gear next to it. And I could set up some simple OCOs, order cancels other, right? I could set them up pretty simply. Again, default is shown in ticks. I could turn ATMs on, and then I could set up my profit target automatically. Let's just do a random trade here, 15. We'll set up my stop loss randomly at 15, and this would be a simple bracket, right? This would be a simple bracket where my stop loss is just a regular stop, and if I hit save, if I hit save, it's on. This drop down menu, it's not off, it's on, and this trade is a day chart. So if I'm going to go ahead to buy one at the market, it automatically puts my bracket around the trade. It's pretty close. It's the micro NASDAQ. But there, we just got hit. We just got filled. So let me kind of edit that a little bit. I'm going to edit it. Let's make it so we can see it a little better. 40 is a profit target. 40 is the stop loss. I'm going to hit save. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to buy a contract. Well, actually, let's do a little analysis here. Does this look good or bad? This is a bearish engulfing candle, guys. So I'm going to go short. I'm going to sell. We'll just change it to a 1 lat. We won't have to do a 2. And I'm just going to hit the sell button. And now it places, you can see it places my profit target and my stop loss at the very same time I get filled, right? And now it's an OCO. It's an order cancels other. So whichever one gets filled, either my stop or my profit target, the other one will automatically get canceled. And yes, you could move it around if you want to move it around. Pretty easy, just up or down, just like that. Again, remember when you want to zoom in, you're just going to pick the area you want to zoom in at. And you're going to draw that rectangle, click again, and it'll zoom in to give you a closer picture of, a tighter view. And so there we have it. We have my stop at the top here. We have my target down here, and I could hands off the mouse. It'll go automatically. Order cancels other, and it's a pretty good. It's a great feature. It's a really good feature for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is I don't have to worry about forgetting an order in the order book. Moving on to another chart, moving on to the quote board, going to a news source, going down to get a bologna sandwich, whatever it is. I have this working so that I won't get a double fill. In other words, I won't get my profit target and then get whipsawed and then end up long where my stop was, or vice versa. So that's kind of feature number 1. Feature number 2, it does provide you a little bit of discipline, right? I put it in. It's automatic. It's ATM, automatic trade management is the word for it, and it's convenient. If you don't want to have that, then you just turn ATMs off, right? You're just going to turn them off. If you don't want that, just turn them off. Really, really easy. All right, well, we covered a lot of ground today, folks. Appreciate everybody being here with me today at NinjaTrader Platforms Unleashed. We have a really great show this afternoon with Tom Schneider. Bars closing. That's at 3:15 East Coast time. And then we have all the opening range shows this morning, all the bars closing shows this week, all the opening range shows this week. We have Tuesday. We have Tom Schneider is going to be live with Alex and Tyler from Go No Go Charts at Traders Workshop at 12 noon. Wednesday, 10:30, I'll be with Bobby Iacchino and see the futures, and we'll be talking about oil. We're going to talk about energies as a general category. Thursday, we're going to have Anthony Cordelli back with Tom Schneider at Develop Your Edge at 10:30 East Coast time. And then finally, Friday, we have Tom again doing technical analysis explained on Friday morning. So again, a full load of stuff here at NinjaTrader. If you want to reach out to us by email, simply send us an email at learn, Learn, at NinjaTrader.com. That's learn@NinjaTrader.com. In the meantime, appreciate everybody being here with us today. And again, any questions on what we just did today or any other things like, hey, how do I do that? Shoot it over to learn@NinjaTrader.com. In the meantime, folks, most important message of the day, please be safe out there, be good to each other. Thanks for coming.